Hello everyone and welcome to my website development course. In this video, I'm going to show you the basic structure of a web page. This is an intro video, so I'm not going to get too much into the weeds, but this video will just show you, this is how you get started. This is the basic structure. So without giving a huge intro, I'm just going to jump in and show you guys how to build your first web page. So what you see on my screen is the basic structure of a web page, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this. And so the way for you guys to get started is all you really need is a text editor. You can use Notepad. You can use Notepad++. I'm using Visual Studio Code. I highly recommend it. But you can use any text editor that you want. So what you could do is you just open up Notepad and you're going to type in this stuff that I have here, and then you're going to save it. And so I'm going to save it in my web dev folder, and I'm going to name it index2 because I already have index. Now the main thing is you want to type in .html, right? Because web pages consist of HTML. So save it as .html, click save. And then what you could do is you can double click that guy. It's going to open up in your web browser, and boom, now you have your web page. And this is what it looks like. It's really plain. It's really simple. All right, so let's just exit out of there. And I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to close this out. Okay, so I mentioned HTML. Well, what is HTML? Well, it stands for Hypertext Markup Language. And so what that is, or actually first what it's not. So it's not a programming language. So what it is, it's a language used to structure a web page, right? So it's like, okay, well, what goes inside HTML? Well, it's just elements. These elements, right? What are they? Well, they could be header elements, which is like a bold, big font on your web page. There's text, there's links, there's images, all of those little things, they're elements, right? So now, what do elements have, right? Well, they have opening tags and closing tags. So what I gave you guys here, this is like the most simple web page you could create. So you could Google HTML starter template, and they're going to give you something similar to this, right? It's going to give you this first line up here, HTML tags, body tags, and then kind of the main content of your web page, right? So what you saw on my screen the first time was, hey, this is my this is my web page. So okay, now let's kind of dig a little deeper into, well, what does all of this mean? Okay, so the first line that you will need is your doc type HTML, right? All that is telling the browser is, hey, I am an HTML document. This document consists of HTML stuff, right? And so that is the first line you'll need in your HTML document. So now let's go down here, right? Now we have HTML. So you'll notice that you have HTML up here and HTML down here. So this is called the opening tag, and this is the closing tag. And the stuff in the middle is the content. To make it a little bit more simple, let's look at this header element. This was the main thing that you saw on the web page. It was in big, bold font, and it said, hey, this is my web page. So if you want to create a header, you need three things: the opening tag, the closing tag, and the content. The opening tag is this guy right here. So what's needed to create an opening tag is this left angle bracket, this right angle bracket, and then the name of the tag, right? So the name of the tag is H1. Now H1 is a header element. It is the biggest element for headers. There's actually 6 header elements, and I will kind of describe that in more detail in another video. But this is a header 1 element, right? And the opening tag is just that. You have the left angle, the right angle, and then the name. Now, after you create your opening tag, in the middle goes the content, right? So you can change this to anything you like. I can put, hey, this is my test web page, right? You can save that, and you can open it up, and now it says, hey, this is my test web page, right? So that's how you can modify that header or create the header. Now, after you put the content in, you have to close it, right? And so to close it, it's pretty much just a copy and paste of this, but instead you have a / after the left angle bracket. So this is closing this tag, and this element is now complete, right? So it's opening, and I have to give it some stuff, and now I'm going to close it. And so that's really all an element is. 3 things: opening tag, closing tag, and the content of it, right? So that's what all these brackets mean and this text here, right? And there's other elements that we're going to go over more in detail in other videos. But for a basic structure of your web page, let's go back to the top here. So I described what this is. Now, HTML, you can see here the closing tag is down here. All this is saying is, hey, everything in between this stuff, it's HTML stuff, right? This is the HTML root element to get started. So that's all this is, and you do need that. So the next element now is our body. And again, you'll notice there is a closing element down here. So all this is saying is, hey, everything in between me, this is going to be visible to the user. So that's why when you looked at the web page, all you saw was this header element that said, hey, this is my web page. So that's what the body is. And then we get down to the specifics. Well, I have a header 1 element. Now I can copy this, right? And I can go copy it 5 times, and I can save this. And now when I open it up, hey, look, I have 5 headers, right? So let's close that out. So you'll notice this has a opening tag, closing tag. This is opening, closing, opening, closing. However, this one doesn't have a closing tag. Now, there are some elements that don't need a closing tag, and I'm going to go over this in future videos. Most elements do have a closing tag, but some don't need one. And so as you work with different elements, you'll get accustomed to which ones need a closing tag and which ones need an opening tag, which ones need a closing tag. But for the purposes of this intro video, these header elements need an opening and closing tag. The body is opening and closing, and the HTML is opening and closing. And so this is your basic structure of a web page. So I hope you guys found this video helpful and useful. If you did, please like the video, please subscribe to my channel, and we'll talk to you guys later.